Yo folks, Quilly18 here, and welcome to another episode of Let's Play Songs of Six. In this episode, we're going to be looking at a little bit of crunchy numbers and mechanics and things like that to start off with. This is not the active save. We're gonna rewind to the active save in just a second. This was me poking around with various roundness things and trying to understand things. There's an entry for roundness in the Sixopedia? I don't know, in the guide over here. Not entirely the most intuitive to understand in a vacuum here. Squareness is emitted from walls that are the center of a 5-tile long straight section of wall. All right, fine, sure. Essentially any long non-diagonal line will emit squareness, fair enough. Roundness is generated by diagonal arrangements of walls. Empty space will emit roundness surrounded by 3 tiles of walls, which are part of a 5-tile or longer diagonal arrangement and is next to a wall in short diagonal. Okay, yeah, sure, okay. And then roundness overrides squareness. This is actually very, very interesting. So if we look at our structure over here, we can see these little bits here are emitting roundness, right? I'm in the shape filter. So blue is round, red is square. Oh, by the way, someone told me there's an option to move the throne. Oh, is it not from clicking on this? It's got it. So there's a way to. There's a move throne command. There you go. So we can use that so we can make a pretty throne room later. That is very handy. Big shout out to all the folks on the Discord with the feedback about the game. It's a really good place to have a conversation because we can get a lot more like back and forth in real time, which is really good. And Green Elite is a very, big shout out to you for your help on this one because you have a lot of expertise. Although even then we've got like some things that we're clarifying on the fly and figuring out on the fly, despite the fact that he is very good at this game. So yeah, okay, so we can see this. And one thing, it wasn't quite obvious, but I think these areas with pluses, these are areas that are emitting a shape, either roundness or squareness. So this tile here, or maybe this tile here, maybe it is the empty tiles that are technically the source of it. Anyway, but these guys are emitting roundness, and that's emitting some squareness because of this flat bit over there. Putting these little single nubbins in here does not generate any roundness, but does prevent the creation of squareness, so that's pretty good. You can see here there's some squareness emitting over here, but it is being overwritten by the roundness. And actually, what's interesting about this is, even though squareness goes quite far, it looks like if the roundness overlaps a squareness source, it eliminates it completely. So we don't end up with squareness over here, which is what I would have assumed, right? Because presumably if I didn't have this corner, this would be emitting squareness all the way over here, but it's canceled outright. The other interesting thing, assuming that the visuals here aren't lying to us, is that there doesn't seem to be an intensity of squareness or roundness. It looks like every tile only has 3 states, either completely neutral, which is what's going on here, counting as round, doesn't seem to be more intense here versus here, or counting as square. And again, the same thing. It doesn't seem to be more intense here versus here, right? The blueness doesn't fade to like a dimmer or brighter blue or anything like that. So that's really good information. The other thing to note is out of this corner arrangement, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 reach, which means if we did have a wall that was, say, 16 long like that, right? Yes, I think I'm thinking correctly. And then we had this. So in fact, because it's 2 tiles longer. So in fact, this is a 20 unit long wall, which means internally, if we had a room here that was, I guess this would again be 18. Yes. So say we went and made 18 by 7 buildings, right? And I say by 7 so that we don't need any internal supports, which has nothing to do with roundness. But if we went with 18 by 7, even though these flat bits would be trying to emit squareness, I think they would be shut down and we would have purely round emitting buildings. Now, it is worth noting, as far as I can tell, the roundness does not go into buildings in any way whatsoever. That doesn't seem to be the thing. Roundness is about make sure there's roundness, at least the way I'm reading it, make sure there's roundness where people are walking. That's the thing. And we could even consider, we could even have internal blocks or something like that where it's a low traffic area, maybe I won't stress one way or another. But that is interesting. Also, if we surrounded this square throne room, if we surrounded this with roundness emitting buildings, presumably it would cut everything off completely, especially if I got the roundness over these little emitting squares. That would cancel it out. So that's my thoughts so far. Anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to revert properly to this stall fix thing. The stall fix is basically right after the last episode. But this stall here. No, one of the things I was a little confused, and it was clear while trying to place it. Because of the order that I was drawing things in with these stalls, like if I wanted to go and say food stall, right? And I think I did probably like a bigger area, and then I was like, okay, let's figure out the size I want. And I had gotten advice that if you do this and put them back to back, then that's good because everything will be more accessible from say the same space, and people don't have to walk around, which is good. I'm like, okay, we'll do that. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna trim it down, and I'm gonna trim it down. Like I could either do this and then, oh, that went away. Okay. So then I think this is exactly probably what I did. And I was like, okay, well, what if I do this? Okay, that's fine. And then I was like, okay, now I can get rid of. See, now it's actually fine. Whatever order is in is I was feeling like, oh, we need to leave this little bit here because when I got rid of that bit, right? If I tried to do this, it made this design invalid. But of course, the reason is. And I'm aware when we're building like our little workshops, right? If I draw like a bigger area out of a workshop and I try to put it into a block, I'm like, oh yeah, that's fine. All I have to do is then go and shrink this so there's no inaccessible bit. Even though it's clear that people can walk around, but that's not how the placement mechanics of this go, right? They can go on the outside. This is now perfectly fine and doesn't have that extra little strip that I ended up with. I'm like, okay, it was just the order I was building things that was messing me up. So I've actually gone and what do they call it? Refurnish the room and just trim those little bits off. And the nice thing about it is it does leave more room for decoration. And actually that got me thinking. And what I'm going to do here to start this stream is I'm actually going to go ahead and remove the market over here and rebuild it. Get a little marché, and I'm going to do 4x8, the correct size immediately. And it'll be the same thing with the stalls. Turn it around that way and that way. And then lock that in. And what's nice about this is I can then go and put some decoration in the middle over here. I think, well, it'll be nature because that's what our people care about. And I was thinking of putting in some little trees in here. Could do flowers. And one of the things I was worried about is, hey, can people reach there? Because when I put decorations and stuff on the road, right, people were walking around around it. And I was interpreting that as decorations are blockers. And maybe some are. Maybe statues are blockers. But I did this test and I realized it's not that decorations are blockers, is that it slows things down. Like, or maybe it doesn't even slow movement down. Maybe it's just because it's not a road, even a dirt road. Maybe it still is effectively an increased weight. People are just walking around the decorations. It's not that they can't walk through it. So they can walk through it for construction. They can walk through it for maintenance. I did a few tests to confirm it. So that's going to be okay. So what's nice about this design is, first of all, we reclaim a little bit more territory over there, which means I could just build a road or I could put more decorations there, right? It gives us maximum flexibility about things, which I love. Also, I need some extra pops. We're good on food. We got 9 months worth of food. Okay, so that'll be fine to now. It just went up to 10. That's interesting. But yeah, get a few more jobbers, rebuild this, and then I'll be a much happier layout. What I'm also going to do is I'm going to go ahead and officially get rid of this building over here. I mean, I guess I could leave the walls just to generate some roundness, but no, let's go and clear that out, because we're not going to use that cannibal as is. We might do things later with, stockades, or I don't know if we can do something with prisoners of war. I don't know. Hey, experience boost over here. Okay, so one of the things we're gonna have to do, right? Because again, I reverted to the save. So here we're in a situation where we're definitely emitting some squareness over here. I'm gonna have to decide, like, do I want to go and redesign these labs? Do I want to go and make it 18 tiles wide? I think I still like the narrower size. I think that's pretty good. But maybe we just do 18 tiles wide. So if I refurbish this room, and let's do a big shrink, followed by, there you go, 18 tiles internal length over here. We'll have to tear down and rebuild these walls. Oh! By chance, or maybe by game design. Yeah, because the single row stations are 9 wide. So if I'm 18 wide internal space, it's exactly 2. I'm not sure. Yeah, I was going to say, I doubt I'm going to be able to go triple on the doors here because there's less space. So it is bad for the installation. What I'll do is I'll just remove the middle bit like that. So that'll look kind of nice. A couple of doors with the pillars in between. Okay. I think I'm keen on that. Let me hit construct, but let's pause because you were not on suspend mode. So first, I think what I'll do is I'll go ahead and put a little suspend on this, because I don't know if I need the other lab quite yet. And then the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cancel those jobs. I'll also go and cancel this whole area over here. Still lost that road from before, but that's fine. Oh, I guess I'll have to go back into plan. Or do I just want to activate this immediately? Well, we don't have the population currently to work another lab. If we do this, I think, unless I'm wrong, and I'm never wrong, even though this is a big, long, straight section, I think all we're going to get out of this building is roundness being emitted. I mean, maybe there'll be a little gap over here where we're not, having a ton of roundness. We'll see exactly how far the radius from these kind of cover. Yeah, I kind of expect there'll be a gap over here where there's no roundness. No squareness, but no roundness. You know what? I kind of do want to test it right away. So I'm going to activate this whole thing. Now, what thing I can do, like if there was any squareness being emitted, I always could put a little single nubbin. Single nubbin to break up the wall cancels the squareness. It doesn't replace roundness. Now, the downside is if I did want to emit more roundness over here, what I'd actually have to do is something like this. This would not simply cancel squareness. It would generate its own roundness. It does make the building wider, which couldn't, like if I tried to do the same thing here, right, with both of these, it's like, all right, well, this would be a round section, presumably, but people wouldn't be able to walk through there. So I don't know that that's necessarily what I want. So I'm going to take a look at what this does when we build it. So yeah, again, we've got this, the housing, we might need a little bit more. Although we're building this block for housing, right? That's not actually built yet. So you know what? I will be able to go and accept some more. Actually, how many people could I go right now? 40 times 5, so that's 200. Wait, what? No, there's this one over here as well. There you go. 240 people we could currently home. So I'll auto accept up to 240. Since the food is currently still stable, although I'm not convinced that it's the superest, most stablest situation we could possibly have, but all right, we'll do that. So yeah, finish that, keep the research going. Speaking of, yeah, we've got a little bit of both to go. Still wondering what would be the best short term. You know what? More hunting. If I'm worried about, do we have enough food? Let's do that. I don't know if I need to drop any knowledge yet. This was this. Oh, that was my import depot for clay, which we don't have any yet. But we did buy some. Is it just incoming? Does it not work without the warehouse assignment? It sounded like it would work without the warehouse. Import to maintain warehouse stock of total capacity. Didn't somewhere else say total capacity of both the warehouse and the import depots? Is this? No, that's special order. I'm thinking, wherever I read that thing, I'm thinking that's not how it works, and that we're not actually going to get any clay. But let's run it a little bit longer just to see. We might get a little conflating in our test over here for the roundness, just because we're getting some emitted from over here. But we'll see. When these corners come up, we'll see if... Well, first of all, again, I'm not expecting any squareness. Once these corners come up, I think all the squareness go out. Mostly just looking to see if there's a blank spot, like maybe over here. Because clearly that... Ah, there is. There it is. Okay. Roof looks weird, but I'm guessing the construction just isn't done. Yeah. Because the squareness there meant that there was no roundness emitted from there. And so if I want to make sure that people are walking through round bits, and this was a walking space, we'd want to fix this up. But I don't need a single nub. And as long as there's another building nearby, like, and for this I will activate planning mode, copy, right? If I take this and put it here, and we have a little path there, there's going to be pure roundness. No one's going to be walking on a non-round bit because the building's going to be on, and in fact, we're emitting a little bit more. I mean, as long as we cover up the non-round bits, then that's not going to be an issue. In fact, arguably, I don't need these nubbins at all for this building because the roundness will be covered. But I think just for the sake of consistency and symmetry, that looks pretty good. Now, this sort of pattern isn't going to help us with the tourism thing of maybe people want to visit huge, giant production centers, but is fine. So then the question becomes, do I tear this down and just build up more of this block? People aren't really walking over here, so I'm not worried about the squareness that's being emitted there for the moment. So we'll leave that there for the moment, and then we'll see. And the other thing I could do is I could generate buildings that are kind of more squarish, as in like, equal length of sides, and then decorate some nubbins and then build a square building. I really don't like the internal pillar thing, so I might just stick to like these sort of longhouses. Ironically, my block of longhouses are more square than anything else. But anyway, if we go right, there's not actually a nature filter, but if I go and say copy a tree, there we go. Then we can see there, and then I love that the nature is properly emitting into there. And in fact, you want to mix it up? Let's do some flowers. I'm going to do a strip of flowers on the outside of both of these. I could also use bigger ones. Yeah, that'd be lovely. Okay, only a few odd jobbers. Why aren't you... Are you just taking your time accepting more people? Sometimes it doesn't actually hit the target that I put in because of something. Maybe the children. No, because it's 233 that includes the children. You guys want daycares? Yeah, you would like daycares, and it is part of your child raising mechanic. And I'm thinking we're not going to delay that too. Oh, we may need to unlock daycares. Yeah, okay. Which might be a good one to unlock early. That's nurseries. 10. Oh, I need a population 250 before I can even consider unlocking it. All right, fair enough. This still, the hunting here still seems really strong. Now, the research here, yeah, that's knowledge-based. So if we want to upgrade the laboratory, which would take metal, which we're almost certainly going to just be importing on this run, and that's going to be okay. We're going to want to make again, I think I will target around 500. I'm going to build up my first military. First of all, I don't want to get raided, but if we can start some early offense, that would be good. Also, it'll help with our people's moods. I'm going to just let some crap all over the place over here. Let's pretend they're props. Okay, I'm going to officially say it. This is definitely not importing clay. Now, I don't have a bin here and I don't want to shrink it. I think it's probably time to accept that I need another stockpile. And the funny thing is, I think I could have the stockpile like a million miles away that holds the clay, because that'll still trigger the import depot to work. And then presumably these guys will grab from there, although someone will try to cart it away. So realistically, I think we do want a depot over here. And if we're going to have an industry, there'll probably be a little bit more. So I might just go and build another 7x7 warehouse, say right in this corner here. Yeah. Turn off planning mode, copy area, get the fleurs. I might change the door assignment a little bit. Because rather than a triple wide door on this side, I might want another door on the back side. Refurbish, yes. If I went and did this, okay, then what I'll do is I'll cancel that door there. 100% insulation, good. Do this, and then cancel that flower over there. Even though people can apparently walk through it. And then I'll put one over here. There we go. But yeah, can walk through it, but presumably walk slower, so we'll do that, and then we'll put in some paths where that was. So I don't know if it copies the settings. It may or may not copy the settings. I think it has in the past, although the fact that I did then do a refurbish afterwards might reset it. Because anyway, I don't want it to contain everything here. All I want is a 1 or 2 crates of clay. And in that case, what I want to do is maintain 100% of the warehouse. See, then it says, no, see, as soon as I go to 100%, it says build both warehouse and import depots. And if at 99%, it says warehouse stock. So I think that may have been the issue. I think the issue might have just been when you set it to 100%, I think it kind of lies. It says warehouse and import depots, but I think it's still not importing anything, right? There's still no money spent. It doesn't say anything about the import depots. I think that tooltip might be slightly incorrect. Ho ho ho! I mean, or it's always possible I'm misreading it, but I don't know. One definitely says and import depots, and I think that might be the lie. Okay, I'm gonna double click here. I'm gonna accept 23 more people. Because yeah, we're hitting that thing again where it's like, I'm not entirely sure. Humanoid meat supply. I'll see what I can do. Clothing, sure. Right now we're exporting our fiber. I think we will develop a clothing industry. Oh, hang on. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Now I'm confused. Now it just spent all the money. Guys, I'm so confused. Is there actually a difference? Is there actually a difference between 100% and 99%? And maybe I'm okay with 100%. You know, mostly it being here is fine. Maybe I'll put like one bin in here. Just cuz. Or I could just leave it out. Why? I mean, I'm not a dumb person. I have moments. We all have moments. It definitely wasn't importing before. I don't know, maybe not enough time had gone by. But it does seem whenever like these things do kick in, it takes the money immediately. I guess we could run more tests. Because I really don't need this much goddamn clay right now. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I will set it to 99%. And then what we're going to do is we'll put like one bin in here. And we'll see if this keeps importing enough to fill this import depot, or if it literally just stops and doesn't import anything anymore. I mean, we don't have the money right now, so the imports wouldn't happen regardless. But we're going to look at that as sort of a long-term trend and see what the heck is going on. All right, more innovation. Okay, food did go down, which is, of course, very reasonable, given this. We may have to import a little bit of food in the short term. Although, oh, and we've got a harvest season going on, although I'm not picking everything. Definitely picking the apples. Yes, that's what those little stripies are. Oranges there. Is that? And there's another apple thing over here. And these are active, in fact, clearly, because someone is over here right now doing that. Good. Okay. And I think we're still doing the herbs, and we're still doing the opium, although we don't have the storage space for it right now, but we might throw a little bit in there. Actually, nothing is redded out, which is interesting. So. Oh, it did copy! Hold on. Interesting. I didn't think it would survive things. I think I might... Oh, it's per category. Oh, that's actually kind of interesting. That is kind of interesting. So, I'm going to leave just one clay bin right now. Obviously, it won't be enough for everything we've got, but we're going to try to keep an eye on that and see if it might, over the long term, maintain 99% fullness of this clay bin. Anyway, we have clay, so we're going to go and activate the clay there. Start consuming that to boost the research. You've got that automated, which is fine. I mean, this guy's going to spend a lot of time idle, but apparently that might be okay, because they might just odd job. And then same thing here. We'll go ahead and updo that. So we should get more innovation. We've got enough food to last through the winter. And I mean, moods are still okay, so I'm not having to worry about that. I also want to get a ration maker sooner rather than later. Did I get my first harvest over here? Sufficient workers? No. I thought, oh, you know what? I'm just seeing a lot of redheads. I thought they were apples. Okay. Fine, fine, fine. And over here, how we doing? We're up to 22 animals. We'd only bought the 10, so they're definitely multiplying. So that's ramping up, which is good to see. What's the load in the laboratories? 54%. The shrine is going to be super low still. The stage is... Interesting. Doesn't actually have a load number. Probably doesn't need this many actors. I mean, the workload's 100% because they're just working all the time, and I think that's regardless of whether people are coming. I think it was a little early for the stage, but it's pretty. So that's fine. It's okay for things to be pretty. Roundness is probably a little bit better over here, thanks to this. There you go. And there are some people, so your experience... Now, the thing is, our Tilapi don't hate squareness. It's just that they like roundness. That's all. So we want to maintain 100% roundness. It's not... And, you know... I don't know if there's a difference between walking through a neutral tile versus a square tile in terms of roundness decay. It may not matter at all, actually. All we want to do is make sure they spend as much time as possible in a roundish area. Okay, so clay test aside, which obviously we still have tons of of stuff in here currently. And you don't... we do have some cash now. And if there's anything importing, it would show it here, right? It's not here. I think it would say... I think there's a line item for imports. I think now... I'm starting to think that it won't import to fill up the depot anymore. I think it will import just for the warehouse now. And I don't know if that's intentional or not. I'd almost like a toggle for like, with this percentage, you want to count the space that's in here. In theory, I don't want to keep stuff in the import depot, generally speaking, because this does not protect from decay. Matters a little less with the clay because it's not super fast decay, but still. We don't want to have things decay that we paid for, which is what's happening over here. 8 per day, but which isn't sizable, and we are going to be consuming it, so the number is going to go down very rapidly from things. We could clearly use some more people. I'm a little bit worried about the food situation here, so despite the fact that we've got a slight job shortage, I think I will be leaving it as is. Oh, hold on. Can we research the nursery now? So that's interesting. So it's not with a new title. I didn't get a title at 250, right? Frontex? No, it was 200. And the next one is at 400. Oh, that's... All right, it's a little odd, sure. So a nursery, I think, would be a net positive gain of workers. I mean, it's nursery tech. It's called a daycare. I think that should probably be unified, but sure. Currently, we have 14 children, so presumably that might tie up to 14 adults in terms of work. Boy, it'd be great to have some of this information available over here. What about over here? I mean, this is sort of the service building kind of thing, and the nursery isn't necessarily a service building, but it kind of makes sense to be part of the living quarter situation as a whole. Or the nursery could also be a really good example of a 7 by 18 internal space building. What would that look like? Because we could overbuild it and then scale down. So it's going to be lined up there, and it's going to have that space. Yes? Okay. And, okay, that's too big. So probably I want to start it from the bottom, in fact. One gap there. Okay, that looks okay. I mean, I could just do something kind of like this. Especially if I, let's say I go planning mode. Actually, we probably do need more houses. Yeah, you know what? Okay. Let's assume we're going to want more houses. If not now, very soon. All right, let's say I copy this. And, yes, like that. And like that. Then we know how much space we need for this. Did I not? I didn't actually go planning mode. Oh, yeah, because I was like, oh, I don't have to do that. And then we go and do a daycare. And then similar sort of thing. I need to leave a gap for the nubbin. And that's enough for a gap and then a 1-tile walk space. If I do this, I don't need internal pillars. And we could maybe do a little bit more over there. Okay. And then... that actually... I don't know if we'd use less space if I did it. Oh, I can't, literally cannot go and do a one width. Okay. Do this. And then carpets just give us tons of flexibility. I mean, I could go and fit in a few more PlayStations. Like this and like that. That does mean no storage, because I think the storage would be blocks and things. Is it possible that we could do this with just carpets? I kind of have my doubts. Wait. Oh, carpets are not an efficiency booster. Never mind. Okay, well then, we're definitely going to not build those. Wow, hold on. All I need is one storage? Okay. Oh, wait, hold on. If I do this... Now, I hate that we're losing the symmetry. There we go. Now I do need a double. Okay, now the question is, if I add carpets, will my symmetry go below 100, or my efficiency drop below 100%? Not yet. Not yet. Not yet. Ooh, hello. I don't know if there's a rounding. 20. And if I do this... Oh, I thought I might need another employee, but no. Okay, hold on. We're still at 100% efficiency. We haven't ticked up the number of workers. Doesn't tell us how much we need per, but presumably it's a good divider. We're not ending up like, oh, 21 shown, now we need a 5th employee. This seems okay. And then... I'm assuming I can't do triple. No. But we'll just go and do this thing with the pillar in between. Oh, no, we're not. Okay, well, one thing I don't love is we're going to break... Well, you know what? We can do rotational symmetry. If I do this and that. No, really? No, that makes sense. Because the number... Huh. Do I just want to have the door on one side? I don't know. You know what? It's not a high traffic thing. I'll just put a single doorway on each side. Fine. 100% insulation. 100% efficiency. We don't have the fabric, so we're not going to be able to construct it quite yet. So, but I'll start. I mean, I'll leave it open, so the construction will begin. We're doing this. You know what? I'm not even convinced we're going to need that. Let's take a look at the shape situation here. Yeah, you know what? We don't even need these nubbins. Because this whole area is going to be round, which will invalidate the squareness. We'll confirm it. I'm actually fairly positive about this. But I think we can go and do this, which maybe leaves us more space for benches and decorations in here, for example. I gotta remember benches. The decoration I'm getting a little bit better at. But yeah, gotta remember benches. But we can do this, and I think this will be fully round in this zone. Woo! See, I think I'm learning. Every time we play, a little bit more starts to lock in. All right. Well, let's... oh, right. So, do I want to stop exporting fabric? Because I think it's probably worth having a clothing industry, even though I don't think my hops particularly care to work in it. I'm hoping they just don't hate it. I look for a... I guess we need a weaver and a tailor. Can I find those? Tailor. Okay, you know what? 75% fulfillment is fine, and 100% skilled. You don't have a debuff, right? Perfectly neutral skill, and the fulfillment's actually pretty high. Sews cloths from fabric or leather. We still need the weaver. Is it higher up? I can't remember if I go into building mode, if I can also get the information there. Oh, here it is. Okay, it's only 50% fulfillment, but it's still good, and it's not negative. So actually, yeah, my Tilapi are perfectly fine to work a clothing industry. And I don't think that's overloading our research thing. I think that's going to be okay. And in which case, do I just tear down this export depot, rebuild this as a storage for fiber, and maybe fabric, probably not clothing. Clothing, I think we're going to want to pull into the center of our thing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to drop the wood by 1 and go up with the clothing. So this is one of our central warehouses kind of vibe. Ah, don't do that, you ass butt. Get what key properly resets that, but there you go. Okay. It's sort of a central warehouse. Again, it might not live like that forever. That's sort of the idea, right? And in fact, these should really be high priority. Pull from other things, because the role this is going to have is basically supplying things for the food stall and the market. Now, is there any chance that this is exactly food stall and this is exactly market? No, it's not. Because that would be convenient. I don't think there's a way for me to, copy this into that. But yeah, I think I will go and remove this. We might end up rebuilding the export stuff too, because I might let my things like fabric and clothing grow unbounded, and then we just maintain an 80% stockpile and then sell the rest after that as a source of income. But for the moment, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go warehouse. And I'll build this as a 7x7 with room for little nubbins. And which actually, is that what that is? I think it is. So, you know what? Yeah, cancel this. We'll just copy. We're gonna have to remember to reset the contents, but I really like this little design. Face it that way. Or where might the industry be? We'll face it this way, because we know that's going to be close to that. And if I build the industry here, which is viable, although people walk down here to go bathing, so I might put the industry behind, which does make the walking a little further. Although, you know what? I'll do... yes, let me go and do the thing where I cancel that and then put a little single door behind. Nope, single door here. Yes. Do that. And then, same thing, cancel that nature. And then add a nature over there. So I really should have copied the other warehouse. But there we go. Summer, nice swimming. We'll try to get you a nice pond inside at some point. Fruit. We have fruit. Do I want to open up the second fruit orchard? Food. Well, we don't have the workers for it, so let's not. And yeah, we're not exporting this fiber anymore. We don't have any yet, but we're going to start storing a little bit of it, and then we'll go and get ourselves the weaver. Do I want to pull in more people? Not yet. I don't really want to dip below 6 months food supply. So we might just chillax a little bit until the fruit orchards really start to kick in. We could also go fruit farm. I don't think our people hated working fruit farms. I think they were just sort of ambivalent about it. Yeah, only 25% fulfillment, but it's still positive. We could have used that as an initial boost. I wonder, how thin can you make a farm? Kind of an interesting question. Like if I just said that, which isn't great soil quality or moisture, and the farmer count is a little annoying, but it is interesting to consider. In fact, there'd be better fruit farming over there. Actually, it's not terrible over here. I could make a little baby fruit farm and then replace it later. Yeah, but there's not great moisture, but the soil is awesome. We could try to bring it to just below 2 farmers. Maybe. As close as we can get. And then just tear this down later. Because I definitely won't want it here. There you go. I'm going to say that's as close as we can get to 2 farmers. So 2 farmers will work here, and they'll have a microscopic amount of extra idleness. Yeah, construct. And yeah, I'll definitely... employees. Oh, slightly below 50 over here or whatever, because we don't have the workers. Or fall. I'm going to wait until after winter to pull in more people. But I kind of like that. Okay. I dig it. Daycare construction. Right, that'll be valid, because I think that'll effectively free up some extra workers for us. And yeah, hopefully that some of the orchard maintenance will go down. And in terms of clay, see, I have money now. I'm at 0 clay. But no, you don't have a worker. But we still have some over here, and my suspicion is that we're not buying more. Because again, I've got it set to 99% instead of 100. So I don't think it's looking here. Even though the warehouse is empty, I think in terms of our storage ratio, these things are a little weird. Although I was going to say, we probably have tons of innovation now, and we do. Okay, let's lock in unlocking the library, because we're going to need that pretty soon too. This is still... okay, the workers per point pen... that's words. The workers per point spent over here for the hunting ratio is getting a little bit worse, so we're using a lot more workers to generate science than maybe we're saving. And then over here, we still don't have numbers on... no, that's farming. On the orchard. Oh, no, it is starting to come in. Good, okay, excellent. We'll do that, and then this is for tools. We don't have tools yet. We could just start importing them. Let me go and finish off... I'm going to finish off the Onk's breeding. The basic one. And then... I mean, we are going to get wood cutting. but I don't think we need it yet. We're going to get weaving soon, but we don't have it yet. Oh, carpentry. Oh, yes, that's actually quite a nice one. There you go. Oh, wow, we actually got to exactly 0 innovation. How perfect. Okay, that's fine. And we are still... Oh, I'm exporting excess wood right now. Which isn't going to happen at the moment, although I could just go and cut some random trees if I wanted money, but I don't need that. I think I will officially change you over to exporting excess furniture. And I could put the yoink. But if I leave it on prioritize... From unprioritized storage rooms. And the thing is, my central depots are currently prioritized, which is good, because I actually do want the furniture to stay in there, and I don't really want to yoink from it. So I guess if I do this, what's going to happen is this warehouse is going to take first priority of the furniture, right? And then it'll fill up and keep it for, you know, some construction basics. We don't need it for maintenance. Well, we need it for maintenance for a few buildings, but not much, really. And then anything else that ends up in the stockpile, the furniture stockpile over here... that isn't going to the warehouse should then get sold, I think, without me having to do anything over here. And then I think this warehouse worker is spending a lot of time idle. Well, that's interesting. 35. 35 must have been in our stockpile, but a bunch of them did just get moved over here. Only fetch from warehouses, at least 100%. Which you don't have a warehouse you can fetch from. But I'll only fetch from warehouses when at least 100% are working. Yeah, well, I guess what I'm looking for is maybe 80. So it is interesting. It did grab. It didn't fetch from warehouse. It couldn't fetch from warehouse. I'm not entirely convinced that this is going to matter right now, because I think all we're doing currently is picking up the loose stuff because the priority conflict. So I don't think this slider matters at the moment, but I think 80% is what I want to do if it gets to the point where it does matter. Like if we start stockpiling some actual furniture in a non-priority stockpile, for example, we might do that sort of thing. It does feel like maybe I should be like, let's go. That's the wrong. Maybe I should say, listen, you can fell some trees over here. What? Okay, well, I mean, I won't actually be using this tool in my city later. In fact, once we get woodcutters, we probably won't use it at all. I didn't realize that would actually go and destroy my actual, like, nature decorative trees. Huh. Alright. Get rid of that, because we'll be doing something with this space later. Anyway. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a cut in here, because, first of all, it's very long already. I was actually hoping to go a little shorter today, because I got a stream that I got to prep for in just a few minutes. Folks, thank you so much for watching. Thank you very much for the continued advice. Still loving this game so freaking much. I'll see you next time.